Hello folks, welcome to Unicorn Light Tarot. Such an honor to be here today. Thank you for joining me. For those of you who are brand new, welcome. It's such an honor to have you here. And for those of you who are coming back and sitting with us again, it's an honor to have you here too. Thank you so much for joining us. So today I thought this is something I was sort of planning to do anyway, but it was also a suggestion, which I really love, by the way. You're always welcome to communicate with me through the comments section, and whatever you want me to read for, if it makes sense, I'm happy to do it. So I want to thank the suggestions, and so I've decided to do what are your spiritual gifts today. I think that's really important. Everybody has an inner compass. Everybody has a spiritual gift that they've come in with and that they get to develop should they want to in this lifetime. And it helps us really not regulate our life, but it certainly helps us go within and create a creative and authentic voice in this lifetime. And there's lots of things, so many great, amazing things that can happen when I'm just going to do this, when we visualize and we really hold on to and actualize our unique gifts in this lifetime. So let's find out what they are. I really wanted to use the pendulum today, so that's what we're doing. So I've made my own. We have empathy, clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, claircognizance, and visualization. Trust me, that's definitely a spiritual gift, and empathy. And we will be going through all of this and what all of this means, and going, of course, into much more detail with the tarot and the oracle cards, which we have. So, as usual, we have 3 piles. So go ahead and take your time. We're going to ground into our energy, and we're going to ask our wonderful spirit guides to come on in. Again, we're looking for messages of love and light and support, anything that can help us really tune into what gifts we have, and also how to develop them and how to integrate them into our lives to become that person that we aspire to be. If we're not that person already, I don't want to presume that you're not. So for the first pile, we have this turquoise little unicorn kind of dragon. Really cute. And for the second pile, we have this sort of, I guess, flying panda. I know that these are probably really popular figures. I'm trying to figure out where I got them. And again, another little unicorn, but he's purple. A little flying unicorn. I guess they all fly. So purple unicorn on card 3. And just to be clear, this is a timeless reading. We are reading this just after the new moon of 2019, our last new moon of this decade. Very intense. We just had a solar eclipse. So we are expecting some really beautiful and significant messages here. But this is, regardless of when we're doing this, this is a timeless reading. So whenever you come across this video is the time for you to find out what your spiritual gifts are. Okay, so go ahead and take your time. It's really important that you resonate with a particular deck. So if you need to go ahead and pause the video, go ahead and do that. And as always, down below in the comments, or just down below in the section below, you'll be able to go, and it will be timestamped. So you'll go straight to your pile and find out exactly what you need to know. Okay, so I'm going to put these aside for now, but we will be back later. And so we have pile 1. Oops. So if you picked pile 1 and this beautiful little turquoisey unicorn, I'm going to put him there by the moon, then this is going to help us figure out what your spiritual gifts are. But the first thing we're going to do, so let's line this up. Very exciting stuff here. So let's find out what your spiritual gifts are. And round and round and round. So we have 6 of them. So this says claircognizance, clear knowing. So this is kind of one of those traits, or one of those gifts that a lot of people either don't realize that they have or don't realize that it's claircognizance. I didn't know that this even existed necessarily until, maybe properly a couple of years ago. But it's clear knowing, like you just know things without anybody having to tell you, and that can go across the board. You know things about people or situations. It's more than just having or being really connected to your intuition, which of course is a real gift too. But clear knowing is really beautiful, and across the board. I've had friends who have clear cognizance, and they've known that literally they were going to be robbed, and they were able to get out of that situation before it sort of did start to occur. But there's lots of, you can use it in a way that can really significantly help and maybe even save your life. So it's not a small thing. So let's see what we've got here. The unexpected. So yes. And then these are the soul cards. I think they're soul cards too. I really like these images. So you have sort of almost playing, but connected to music in a really significant way. So we're just going to put these down for now. 10 of Staves. I love this card. The Hermit, spending time in quiet meditation. And Archangel here, Raziel. The number 9. And again, we have 9 of Fire here. Don't give up. Protect that which you have created. Have courage and believe in yourself. And then take your power back. So pile 1, it feels as though, I'm going to put this a little bit back so it feels like you need this. This will be a really good reading for you. So I feel as though the first message that I'm getting for you is that just across the board, your spiritual gift is really profound. But as we already stated in the beginning, and this as we came into to your pile 1, to your understanding of yourself, it's this gift is actually is absolutely abound and beautiful, and it's really significant. For me, it's one of the most significant ones, actually. But it's usually a spiritual gift, I feel, that often gets overridden or it's not held in the greatest of esteem because people don't realize that they have it. They either take it for granted, they don't realize it's a spiritual gift. So you have take your power back and don't give up. You also have the reoccurring 9s, and you also have the Hermit. So I feel as though the first message that I'm getting, you also have the unexpected. So I feel as though the first message that I'm getting is that this may be a sort of theme that's been throughout your life, this idea of trusting the universe and needing help and sort of going out, quote unquote, on your own and really going after what you want. Now, this spiritual gift can actually help you if it's developed. And for those of you who realize that you have this spiritual gift, I feel as though there's ways that you could absolutely and totally rely on this gift, and it will bring you so much release and so much beauty in this world. Now, I don't feel as though, and this, let's please bear in mind, these are general readings. Obviously, this is, above and beyond general reading. But what I'm getting for most of you is that even though you may have a sense that you have the spiritual gift, you don't rely on it in the way that you should. And that's just a matter of really embracing that you are a spiritual person. Again, this matter of practicality keeps coming in. And I feel as though there's 2 compartments, even though most of you, and I presume most of you who have found me are at least somewhat spiritual or on the spiritual path per se. But I feel as though, at times you get into this very practical mindset of like, all right, not time for spirituality here. We've got to hunker down, get this, get the rent, pay the bills, do this. And again, there's nothing wrong with practicality. This is one theme that keeps coming up in all of these readings. The way in which you can have a spiritual life and believe that you can gather the strength and really manifest the life that you want by relying on this clear knowing. Now, for you, what I'm being told, and this is really interesting, is that one of your biggest fears is that if you do rely on your intuition, which is this is something I feel as though, I don't know if you can hear this, but we actually have hailstorms in the back. So if you do hear something in the back, that's what it is. It's nature. But I feel as though for you, there is this understanding that you can move forward and have what you want and rely on this particular gift to get whatever it is that you want, or to pull into your existence whatever it is that you want. And once you start using your gifts in this manner, there will be profound confidence, and you will be much more willing to use it in the future. Like I said, I keep seeing that you keep sort of pushing it away a little bit, almost using it or bringing it out for special occasions. But the idea of integrating it firmly into your life, you're a little bit worried that if you choose something, I keep getting this understanding that you might be getting lost. Like, a lot of you don't want to go down a particular road because you're afraid that it's not the right road for you and that you've wasted your time. I feel as though a lot of you feel as though in the past you've gone over the same things over and over again, and maybe you've wasted time doing X, Y, and Z, but you haven't. All of that, you needed to gather all of that knowledge and to complete that karma to move into the person that you are now. So the first thing I'm going to say, you haven't wasted any time. There is this clear sort of understanding with you, or the essence of understanding, that you've wasted some time doing this, and that if you go with your quote unquote knowledge, your spiritual knowledge, then you might be going into the same mistakes, and you might be wasting more time. The other thing is, I think for some of you, is that just the fear of the unknown. If you really embrace this, again, there's thunder in the background. I think you might be able to hear that. It's really beautiful, actually. That's part of your power, by the way, Pawan. Nature. But I feel as though a lot of you are a little bit, so there's a little bit of dichotomy here. Some of you are, I'm sure you can hear that. So some of you are a little bit afraid of the unknown and really embracing the power of your clear cogniance. And this is just because you've not fully integrated it. You've used it at certain times, and then you sort of hidden it away, almost protected it. So if you used it more and integrated it firmly into your life, you would trust it a lot more. So for those of you who are on the precipice of something new and are ready to embrace your clear knowing and move into a new level of living and breathing within your intuition and making decisions based on that, I would say just go for it, because it might feel as though you don't have it together. It might feel brand new. It might feel a little bit scary. And that's because you're sort of dusting off your clear cogniance. Again, you might be very much aware that you have it and very much in tune with it, but I don't feel as though you use it at every step. Like I said, I feel as though that you've been protecting it. So for the unexpected, I feel as though some of you are being called to actually to really use your clear cogniance and just release and move into this new area of your life. And even if it feels a little bit odd, and even if it feels brand new, and even if it feels like it's not familiar because you're not used to integrating all of this energy of the clear cogniance all of the time, then, the payoff is going to be huge. So the message that I'm getting is that your past is your past, and you're being asked to move in a spiritual way now. And it feels like a dance, which is what this is. I just got this clear vision of you sort of dancing, but it's sort of like primordial sort of dancing. It's very sort of indigenous, like with the land. It's like you're being asked to sort of to do the opposite of what the world or society would ask you to do. It's to live with your own balance, and to live not just in harmony with nature, but in harmony with your own sense of balance, which is what your clear cogniance is. Now, everything that you've been through, if you think you're coming late to the table and everybody's been eating for an hour, I got this vision very clearly, that you think that you're late. And one of the reasons why you don't want to rely on the claircognizance is because you think that you're behind and you need to catch up. So that's when the practical mind comes in and says, no, I can save you. We've got this. We're doing this. Let's do it this way. But that's just your ego, and that's just your practical mind talking. Now, there's nothing wrong with either one of them. One of them protected you this entire time, and the other one is trying to help you. But in this case, none of this is going to happen as quickly as it could if you just embrace the claircognizance. What it will do is it will connect you and align you with your true frequency, and you'll be able to take your power back. I feel as though some of you feel as though you are late to the table and everybody has been eating, like I said, for an hour, or you feel as though you feel very powerful, and at times you don't feel in touch with your own power. And that's because you need to integrate your claircognizance, your clear knowing, into every aspect of self, and trust that if you make decisions from your sense of claircognizance, and all you have to do, all Spirit is asking you to do, all the universe is asking you to do, all Source is asking you to do, is take that first step forward. Take that first step forward with a true heart. Do not think about the bad. Do not think about what could go wrong. Do not think about, yes, but I need to make rent. Don't think in desperation. Just think from the heart. I have this gift. I know I can do it. I know I'm really good at this. I know I'm walking into this with a pure heart. I know I can serve. I know I can help people. Source, universe, whatever, creator, however you refer to the universe, will meet you halfway, and you will be able to see the power that you have, and you will be able to brave the unexpected with a little bit more vavum that you're doing now, with a little less fear or anticipation for something going wrong. The 9 of fire too. I feel as though the essence of protecting yourself and the essence of believing in yourself really comes from trusting your inner knowledge. So it's really apparent that you're at the time where it's I feel as though for some of you, you're at a precipice where it's really important for you to trust your own power. And this is how you can do it, by using your spiritual gifts. Now, you were given them so you can use them as an inner compass, which will never steer you wrong. And I feel as though there's been times in your life with the Hermit here too, that you've spent time isolated in order for you to figure out who you are. A lot of you came in with some heavy karma. A lot of you came in with a lot of powerful gifts, but really you did not know how to use them. And you may have utilized them in a way that maybe did backfire a little bit. So when you're looking back on the past and trying to see if you can trust yourself on big decisions, maybe you're looking at the past and going, well, when I did this happened. Well, first of all, your past is your past. And second of all, the Hermit card is saying to me here that it's no longer time for you to isolate yourself. It's time for you to integrate and get back out into the world. Take your power back. But also, I feel as though with the Soul 2 card here, there is a magic that you have in your hands. Now, this is creativity. It's here is the essence of music, but you have all of this energy around you, which is your aura protecting you. So you have this aura of protection. So the one thing I'm getting is that you cannot go wrong. You cannot fail. You did not live this life in your entirety and learning all those lessons and integrating all of those spiritual messages that you got to fail at this point. Some of you have a little bit of a fear of failing. It used to be a fear of being seen. You've really worked on that. You've really integrated yourself in a way that fear is dissipating at a rapid rate. But you still have a fear of failing. I feel as though you still have these really, really high expectations of yourself. No, there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel as though you hold yourself up under this bright light of scrutiny when nobody else is doing that. Even around your life, I feel as though you may have grown up with a lot of criticism. You may have in your life gotten a lot of criticism, but I feel as though you're in this space right now. You're ready. You're in this sort of just coming out of this cocoon, getting ready to go into a brand new space in your life. And in this space, you're not around a lot of criticism. The only criticism is really coming from you. So whatever your spiritual gifts are, and it goes beyond claircognizance now. This is just how you can manifest and integrate everything that you're here to do. But I feel as though it could be creative. You could be writers, you could be musicians. But I feel as though for most of you, you do a little bit of all of that. And you integrate that into everything that you do. I'm hearing the messages that you integrate your magic into everything that you do. And some of that is creative and some of that is creative beyond creative, if that makes any sense. So it's not something that's tangible, like you may not write a song, but creativity, why can't I say that word, and your creative endeavors are definitely sprinkled into and moving in and integrating into everything that you do and everyone that you speak to, and people can sense your magic. So what I would say here, again, to recap, to really understand yourself, pull back your power, not be afraid of the unexpected, or I would say for you, brand new beginnings. And they are brand new beginnings because you are moving into a brand new beginning. I would say forget your past. Honestly, forget it. It's done for you. Everything that you've done with that knowledge has been integrated. Forget your past. Whatever manifested through, using your claircognizance beforehand or this, that, and the other will not manifest again. Those were lessons that you were supposed to learn then. So forget your past. Weave in, and again, weave in. You can call on spider energy. That would be great for you to weave in essences of your past, but be able to leave it behind and get that creative energy around you. Some of you might even have spider energy around you. I know I usually do. I know it sounds very strange, but when I'm supposed to listen, and there's a great message from Creator, I always come across a black widow, and they've never hurt me. And I don't believe they ever will. I've always been in and around them, and I treat them with great respect. Obviously, because it's their land. They were here before us. But I always get these messages, and they're very clear messages. So you might have spider energy around you. If not, you can call on spider energy. And I'm not saying call on the actual aspect of Black Widow. You don't need to actually see them. That's just what happens with me. But you can call on that aspect to weave around all your understanding and bring in all of your wisdom from the past so you can truly release it and then walk into your new life with clear cognizance and interweaving with every decision that you make from then on into the world without having to be a hermit and protect who you are with your magic, expecting brand new results, brand new horizons, walking into your power all the time. Grounded into your power at all times. You're not shutting down aspects of self. So I feel as though you have clear knowing at certain times. And then other times, the practical mind comes in. And what it does, it sort of comes in and shuts down the clear cognizance a little bit. So, you when the clear cognizance come back in, it's coming back at a slower rate almost. It's got to wait to pump itself up again because it's not been in use for a while. If you keep staying with your claircognizance and start making all of your decisions from that, again, universe wants to say, source wants to say, just take the first step with your heart open and they will give you the rest that you need. The other message that I'm getting at the end is for those of you who are worried and using your practical mind because you're scared about finances. All you have to do is use your claircognizance, ground into your energy, pull it back, let go of your past, and walk in to the first step with an open heart. And regardless of what you think you need, the universe will actually support you as you keep walking your steps. So don't worry about the rest of it. The worriment is coming from you in sense, well, but I have to do this and I have to do that. And and this bill needs to be paid. They're saying, we understand that. We can see your life. Just walk the first step. We will bring the magic in and make sure that you are looked after in ways that you could not have perceived. So just trust and walk forward. So if you trust in yourself and your claircognizance and you live from that aspect of self, the universe will step up. They've always stepped up, but they will step up in a brand new way because you're allowing them to help in a brand new way and be able to create the magic that you so desire. So pile one, I'm really excited for you. This is a really beautiful gift. And like I said, it's a really luminous gift, but it's in some ways, it seems a little bit sort of not palpable or impalpable, but it really isn't. It's one of those gifts that really is profound. It can be integrated in such a huge way and become a huge aspect of your life. And it goes just beyond a regular sense of intuition. You can use this to know about anyone or anything. You know, a lot of people get a sense of somebody, but you can actually walk into a room and get a sense of the room. You can scan the room, you can scan people. And for those of you, again, you know, the first image that I got who were worried about being late to the table and worried about being a late starter or a late bloomer, this gift, once you really, really pull it into your psyche and embrace it in the way that you're about to do because you're ready to do it, you know, you can actually stop wasting your time because you'll know about a person immediately in a way that somebody might get a sense, but you know, maybe take a little bit more time to figure them out. You will actually you have an acute sense of people. So you can actually go in and go, yes, yes, no, yes, yes, no, and just not waste any time. So if you really, really pull in this claircognizance and integrate it into your life in a way that I know that you can actually get to your destination a lot quicker. Okay? So for pile 1, if any of this resonated, I'm really excited for you, by the way. Do feel free to give me a thumbs up and subscribe and hit that bell so you always know when there is a brand new video. I'm planning on making a ton of videos in the next couple of weeks, so do not miss out on them. And always let me know in the comments anything that you have to say. Let me know if it resonated. I love hearing from you guys. So I appreciate it, and thank you for being here. Okay, pile 1, bye-bye. Okay, pile 2. If this is you, the sweet little panda, again, this is a timeless reading. We are getting some messages for you about your spiritual gifts and where you are with them, how you can integrate them a little bit more, or just general reading about your spiritual gifts. And let's just go right in and find out what they are. Again, this is a timeless reading, but I'm going to put this down. And let's see what the pendulum says. Oh, no, you know what? I'm going to do that again. Oh, no. All right. No. Okay, so for this one, it's clairsentience. So it's extracting information from your feelings. So I'm getting the sense that there's a few different things going on here. So I'm actually going to do this again. Okay, so for you, this pendulum is really interesting. I'm getting a sense of you guys already pile 2, so bear with me. I've got a few things going on. Okay, so it is clairsentience. I did want to check. The reason I feel as though, so let's see, we've got a few things going on. Creative writing, and Gabriel is there. Hunger, the Chariot, well, very powerful cards, pile 2. Archangel Metatron, I do like him. Ace of Water, falling in love, a resurgence of a relationship, and Ace of Cups reversed. Okay, so there's a few different things going on here. So, so the first thing that I was getting, the first message that I was getting, it was the pendulum was going around, but it kept sort of blocking itself. So I feel as though you've worked throughout your life to unblock certain aspects of self. So everybody grows in a certain way. And the real aspect of growing is really just shedding so we can really see who we are. So that's how we grow. And you've really been working on shedding a lot. And there's been a lot of blocks throughout your life. And I feel as though a lot of them have been spiritual blocks. You came in with a lot of spiritual blocks. And you came in to really find your own identity first. And then to integrate the spiritual aspect of self a little bit later on. And this has got nothing to do with age. If you're a little bit younger, this is just sort of the way in which, and again, this is a general reading, but this is the way in which you've been integrated. And this is the way you're integrating into the world and your sense of self. So your clairsentience here is, I'm just going to move this around. So your clairsentience here, extracting information from your feelings. So there's a few different things going on here. The one thing that I am getting is that it's not that you didn't trust your clairsentience. It's just that I feel as though a lot of you are empaths. And because you're so sensitive, you had to cut off a certain aspect of your clairsentience because it was overwhelming for you. So you've had to sort of work with your gift on your own terms, figuring that out. Now, a lot of you have had to learn the aspect of self-worthiness and self-love. I feel as though that's been an ongoing aspect of self, of the resurgence of self-love and self-being and trusting oneself. With you, there is a hunger to be seen, for sure. But there's also a huge hunger for you to make a difference in this world. So this is a very clear message for you, pile 2. What I'm getting is that yes, you will make a difference in this world, and yes, you are here to make a difference in this world, but you are carrying too much of the load. You were never here to carry as much as you've been carrying your entire life. So your angels, your spirit guides are saying, if you just relaxed and took off some of it, then they're showing me bricks on your shoulders, like they're really heavy. If you take, I mean, I feel as though some of you are taking on the aspects of like actual patriarchy or the actual aspects of religion and what religion has done. That's way too much for you. You were never supposed to, you were not born to bear all of that negativity and all of that heaviness. You just weren't. There's an aspect of yourself that is very sort of a martyr. Now, that may have come across in your life. You may have actually been a physical martyr, in many aspects of self, especially when you were younger. I do feel as though a lot of you have grown out of that. You may have had an instance in the last maybe 6 or 7 months where that aspect of martyrdom came up in a relationship or in a situation, and that was the end of that. You really had to walk away from that and go and took full responsibility for that. Oh, okay, I put myself in that position. So this has been significant for you and been weaved into the fabric of who you are. You may actually have been a martyr in a past life. I do feel very, very, I felt these cards very powerfully when we put them down. You have a very powerful spirit. And you have a lot of power. Everybody has power. But you have a lot of power in this lifetime, and you've often used it against yourself, and you often feel as though that you're here for a big reason. Now, you are here for a big reason, pile 2, but there's lots of things that you needed to do first. Now, with the Ace of Water, I do feel as though a lot of you felt as though you were drowning and you could not see the wood for the trees, which is a curious expression considering this is Ace of Water. But the beauty of drowning in your own emotions or in your own sensitivity is that you got to see what it's like when you're under the water. And under those circumstances, there's no one in this world that you cannot help. There are so many empaths. There are so many people that do not know how to deal with their emotions. And that's exactly what we're dealing with in this lifetime, the new reformation and the rising of the new masculine. So you're actually here on a very specific kind of, I wouldn't say agenda, but that word did come in because there's an old aspect of self where you've definitely moved into the new paradigm. This is sort of a little bit more of an ethereal kind of reading in many ways. But your sense of movement, needing to move, that power, you feel that power. And sometimes you feel as though, you're stuck in the mud where your wheels are going, but you're not moving forward. And that hunger to be of use in the world, to be seen, to use that power, to integrate it, to help people. It's absolutely there. And now you absolutely are ready. Now, some of you, it says here, creative writing. I do feel as though some of you are writers and artists, but I also feel as though you are empaths to the entire degree. So you're here to help other people specifically deal with their sensitivity and emotions. Now, that's a myriad of different ways you could do that. You could be a therapist. But I feel as though even if you are a therapist, there's holistic approaches that you take. Even if you are a nurse, there are holistic there's holistic modalities that you interpret and incorporate into your ways of being. And even if you don't physically use those with your patients, there's a sense of self within that, and your client or your patient still feels that. So you may not physically have Reiki or integrate or do Reiki on your patient, but you still have those those understandings of spirituality. You still have those quests, as it were. I keep being told quests, and you still integrate that into your system of beliefs, and you're absolutely, whoever you work on, and whoever you are in and around, your client, your patient absolutely feels that and gets the benefit of it. But I feel as though it's about reconnecting with your own light through your clairsentience here, and the information from your feelings, to connect with your feelings in a completely different way. Now, what you've had to do as empaths is you've had to separate who you are and who everybody else is. Now, we're not saying this to be mean, but you've not always been the most grounded of people. You may have been earthy, but you may not have been grounded. You are the type of person, you have so much empathy and compassion for somebody, for people. You can go into a situation, get caught up like a wave, like a tidal wave, almost going under because somebody is so completely upset. Negativity and, I don't want to say evil, but, the way in which this is being said to me, negativity, walking into a room of negative people could have affected you so much that you almost feel as though that negativity is evil because it's amplified so much and you equate it with evil. You're able to feel energy at such a great pace that you have blown situations in your mind a little bit out of proportion because the amount of energy that you feel. Now, all you've been working on integrating and really working with the empath side and embracing your sensitivity, which is really extreme. You're not just a normal empath, I would say. And even though empathy did not come up or empath did not come up, I can clearly see that you're empaths and you have a clear sensitivity, which is absolutely beautiful and can be enhanced by working on your inner child, your sense of self, your sensitivity, and holding hands with your inner child and healing all aspects of inner child will help you regain that innocence. And once you're in that innocent space, what you'll be able to do is this. I don't need this. I don't need this. You'll be able to repel negativity as easily as this. In the past, as we've already stated, you weren't able to do that. But you will be able to do that. And you're walking into this light now. Now, your clairsentience here, extracting information from your feelings, is the next stage of empath, of empathy, of your sensitivities. The same sensitivities that you felt like you were drowning at times in your life. But you also were given this drive and this hunger for a reason. You were also given this sense of creative power. And for me, this card here, creative writing, yes, you could be creative, you could be writers, you could be artists. That's in its very basic form. But for me, this is a card of communication, of being there, a solid ground, a lighthouse for other people to shine their light also, and to give them the wisdom that you have, and just to tell them that I've been there and it is okay. You can gather your gifts. You can make sure that these gifts do not pull you into a tidal wave anymore. You can handle them. You can integrate them. You can work with them as a sense of power instead of them riding you into the ground. So for you, your clairsentience is the next stage of your empathy, of your being sensitive, of your empathic skills. And they are skills, even though you may not have seen that in the past. And they will help you gather your strength and power to move through life to your goal of not just being seen, but to help others work with their emotions so the emotions don't rule them anymore. So you're definitely at the second stage of development here. Shining your light. Now, you never felt as though you could shine your light, and who would feel like that if you felt like your emotions were being clouded or you were drowning in them? But you're coming out of that now. And the Ace of Water, there's also another aspect of self here, where you crave that love and you crave another, an external love. So those of you who are looking for the one, a soulmate, twin flame, whatever you want to refer to it as, and for those of you who already have an aspect of self where they're in a relationship and they're taking it to the next level, so they become the one, then this is ready for you now. You're actually moving into a sense of love that you've never had before. Now, you wouldn't be able to attract or be ready for this love if you had not gotten to a plateau of self-love yourself. Self-acceptance, that's another thing. you've hid and dimmed your light because you didn't accept yourself. You didn't accept this gift. A lot of you, again, this is a general reading, but I hope this is resonating with some of you. You did not accept the gift of sensitivity and being an empath. You just didn't, because why would you? It was making your life bloody hell. But you have worked with this. You have gotten over this. You have integrated this. And you've worked from the depths of getting in touch with this. I mean, you have been, some of you may have been in panic mode for years, or just, so much information. I mean, you can walk into a room and just be overloaded with so much information. So for you, it's about reclaiming your power, getting back into your own sense of grounding. The best way of doing that is for your first part. This is the second part. The first part is reclaiming your feelings and your beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sensitive nature, which is not a curse. It may have felt like that, but you're already in the understanding that it's not a curse. And just really, I'm getting the sense of, again, getting in touch with your innocent side and really breathing into the sense of solidarity of your sensitivity and going, I don't need to protect myself anymore. Another side of it is that your sensitivity made you a little bit vulnerable. And in aspects for you, Pal, too, it really did. I feel as though there were a lot of people who did take advantage. They really did. And there was a lot of things where you may have been quite naive, where a lot of people would have seen, things coming, quote unquote, and you didn't. And when they did happen, and people did this to you, or you were treated like that, you were devastated, and quite understandably so. So, you hid that side of self. But, what spirit, source, universe is asking you to do here, God, however you refer to, it's all really the same. What spirit is asking you to do here is to re-embrace that sense of innocence, because you've outgrown that idea of naivety. Naivety and innocence are two different things. They really are. And you've grown out of the naive phase, which was really beautiful, by the way. That's why you give your inner child a huge hug. The fact that, an aspect of you that may have been jaded, but there was a huge aspect of you that was so unjaded and just allowed these people to be who they are. And yes, they did end up being, pardon my French, a little bit of a bollocks. But really, at the end of the day, you're out of that phase now to really rest into the understanding that you're going from the naivety to the innocence. Really just love that inner child aspect of self. Coming out of the empathic, you'll never come out of the empathic per se, but coming out of the curse of the empath. That would be your title of your movie. And coming into utilizing those energies and that sensitivity so your clairsentience can really help you extract every kind of information, every kind of beauty and essence that you need to maintain this grounding that you have, so you can grab onto that chariot and move in and really curb that hunger to be out there and to integrate yourself and to help other people and to be of service. You are absolutely ready for this. You've been through the drowning phase. You're ready to do this. You absolutely are. And for those of you, again, shine your light. Bring that light out. Some of you may have even extinguished your light. It's time to bring out that light. Let it shine. Let's turn this around. I'm also going to turn around the Ace of Cups, everything that you want, including this relationship with yourself, and then shining that relationship out into the world to attract and manifest this beautiful soul that is not already into your life. They will be coming very soon. I feel as that there's a wholeness and a completeness coming in with this clairsentience that's really going to integrate into your life in, I wouldn't say a brand new way, but in a brand new essence, in a sort of a new platform, a new way to be. So that's you, Pile 2. That's really beautiful, and a little aspect there of self-love and love coming in. And remember the two-part. You are in the second part already, very clearly in the clairsentience. And that blocking that you've done before, like hitting up against yourself, that even the pendulum was doing at the beginning, you are out of that stage. Please trust yourself and allow yourself the trust and the innocence, moving away from the naivety, but the innocence aspect of inner child, to integrate again and get back to a soul level of clairsentience and move into that powerful energy of moving forward with the chariot. And again, curbing that hunger, getting in there and doing what you're supposed to do. Well done, Pile 2. Let me know if this resonated. Do feel free to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that bell if you're interested in knowing immediately when and there will be lots of new videos coming out very soon. Do let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you. And until we meet again, do take care, Pile 2. Okay, Pile 3, this is you. So if you pick this beautiful purple spiritual color unicorn here, this is your reading. So this is a timeless reading. Oh, it's fallen over. Let's put him here. So this is a timeless reading. So let's get right into it and see what your spiritual gifts are and go from there. So we have visualization. I'm going to do that again. So, you may not see this as a spiritual gift, but let me tell you, people who know how to spiritualize, that was a Freudian slip, spiritualize, it is absolutely an aspect of being spiritual. The visualization of being able to do this clearly brings in the external into the internal, and profound manifestation, being able to manifest on such a high level, and being able to show people how to do this too. But I want to do this again. I'm being prompted to do this again. Visualization. There you go. All right. So for those of you who are sitting there going, visualization, what does that really mean? Well, we're going to get into it. And is that really a spiritual gift? Yes, it is. Let me tell you. So self-reflection. These are the Soul 2 cards. I really love these. So I'm just going to show you. We're going to interpret this in a minute. Peace. Venus and love. I love this card. This is from the Goddess deck. This is one of my favorite love Venus cards. 9 of air. Expecting the worst. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Sleepless nights. Okay, we're going to be working with that. Don't worry about it. 5 of air. Unwise choice. Learning what you can do from the situation. Review everyone's motives. Okay, so there's firstly a first aspect of you, Pile 3, is that, learning to trust yourself again. So I feel as though many of you have made decisions from a practical element. This is usually very much a theme that I have with many of my clients, and, and readings in general. People really get the idea that there's a time for spirituality. There's a time to use your spiritual gifts, and there's a time to be practical. Well, that's kind of bull. And I feel as though that's what you've been doing. Real talk here, Pile 3. That's what you've been doing. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. No one's saying, you shouldn't have a practical mind. But it's not been working out for you. Now has it? And if you have been visualizing, something else has come up, or you've been visualizing either not what you've quite wanted, not going for what you truly want, and you've been getting what you ask for, and then you've been wondering why the hell am I here? Well, because you asked for it. Or Pile 3, it's more about not really getting in touch with what you actually want, and being afraid that you're putting out other kinds of energy, because you are the sort of person, you're not a negative person, you're actually extremely optimistic, but you have a very practical side which likes to see every aspect of self. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. This comes from practicality. You may have been brought up with the idea that what can go wrong will go wrong, right? You may have been brought up around people who just sort of prepared you for the worst. And there's nothing wrong with that intrinsically. I think it's sort of a very practical way of doing it. But I think we can reinterpret that as, if you visualize what you want and don't get attached to the outcome, but trust that all good will come back to you, that's a better way of seeing it, rather than putting out your energy of, oh, this is what I want, but, but then attaching to the end result, and then being disappointed before it even comes into fruition, because, what if I don't get it? You see the difference in that. If you have supreme visualization, and again, let's get back to this, because this is what this is about. So visualization, supreme manifester with a heart. That's what I put down there. You are a supreme manifester. Now, for those of you who are here, for some of you, you should be resonating with this, but for some of you, you'll be like, am I though? You are. When you've actually put your heart and soul behind something, you've actually gotten it. Whether you wanted it or not, you've actually gotten it. Now, can you do that every single time? No. And that's because you are worried about your energy when it goes out there. You sort of block the energy of pureness when it goes out there. You send it off in a pure heart, and you start to believe that, absolutely you're free, it's open, you release it to the universe, you're great at that, pile three. And then the doubts come in. Oof, what if it doesn't happen? Ooh. Or the other thing that you do, impatient souls. Oh, it hasn't happened in an hour. I've checked my phone. No one's gotten back to me. Oh my goodness. And then you start to doubt yourself really quickly before giving it the energy to go off. And then the other thing that you try to do, and this is out of protection, and then again, this is out of the way that you were brought up, or in a way that you picked up this energy. I don't think this is intrinsically you, but then you start thinking of all the ways that it could end up, all of the ways that this could manifest, and some of them are negative, that you don't get what you want. And all you're doing is covering your bases. Your practical mind is telling you that, oh, but I'm just covering my bases. So this is what we're doing. And just in case it doesn't happen, I want to be prepared. So, but what you're doing is you're blocking that energy that you've already put out there. Now, you're a supreme manifester. A supreme manifester. You really are. And I can tell you, you're so powerful at visualization that if you put out a very specific, and I mean crystal clear image of what you want, I promise you, you will get that back tenfold if you stop blocking yourself. Okay? Now, self-reflection and peace. Okay, so there's few things that you have this cycle when you start blocking yourself, because you either start doubting it, or the practical mind comes in and tries to protect you from the outcome just in case it doesn't happen. And there's a part of you that disrupts your peace. Now, the first thing that I'm being told is that everything that you are meant to achieve in this lifetime, you will. There's nothing that you are going to do to stand in your own way. Now, you may feel as though you've done this in the past, but you haven't. Everything that you needed to do, even if you were blocked in the past, you had to learn that lesson. You had to be blocked in order to learn that lesson, assimilate it, and move on. So you are going to achieve everything that you are here and set out to do. Whether you feel as though you're doing this late, if you're a late bloomer, or if it's never going to happen, it will happen. So you can sit in that grounded sense of peace. It will happen. The universe will deliver it to you. So that's the first thing that you can do, okay, to take away that negativity. We're giving you some tips here, how to work and manifest a little bit better. Now, for those of you who do not believe this, trust me, it's going to happen. You are going to be working in the future or in the present, or maybe that you are. And if you are already, then you're going to be able to increase your power and increase the people that come to you, or increase the level of information that you're giving to people. But you're actually going to help people manifest their beautiful lives in the future in different ways. Now, you may not necessarily, or if you do, that's great, have a YouTube channel and, and be reaching out with people, or have clients, or help them manifest and whatever. You may be writing a book. I don't know how you do it, and it really doesn't matter. You may be doing it in a very instinctive way where people don't realize, like, again, you might be, a therapist, and they don't realize that you're actually a supreme manifester. So it may be coming in, under a sort of a different heading that you're doing. But what you're really doing in this lifetime is you're teaching people how to visualize. And I see for some of you, you're teaching people how to visualize a healthy body and healthy cells throughout their body. And you're teaching them how to do this on a really profound level. Now, we already know scientifically that our DNA can shift with new thoughts and new processes of mind. So we already know this from science. This has been proved. This is something that you'll be able to do if you're not doing it already, or in some form or some aspect of self. You will be doing it in the future. And for those of you who are like, really? Trust me, you will. Now, the one thing that you are able to do, but you do this a little bit too much, is self-reflect. Now, there's nothing wrong with self-reflection, and how you've gotten to where you are is through self-reflection. But this is what you're doing now. You're just going over and over and over the same stuff. So the other thing that I would say is that your past is your past. You really have assimilated a lot of the information from your past, And there's nothing more to go over. You have to sort of cut the ties. Now, there's lots of ways that you can do this physically. You can imagine, I would say for you, it'd be good to do a meditation where you really cut ties with such situations and people. You've gone over this and over this. You've forgiven yourself and you've forgiven them. You've done this on an intrinsic level, but you're still letting it go back. So when you go into a little bit of a distrust of your visualization, you go into that practical element of trying to get everything quote unquote together so you can all your ducks in a row and move forward. You keep going back to the stuff and going over and over and over. And it's not really over and over, could I have done things any differently? You accept the outcome, but a part of you is still trying to try to be maybe seen by that person or trying to be understood by that person. And that's because you need to just go back and use the self-reflection to understand and fully accept yourself. So I would say cut ties with all the old in your life. You've done that on many levels, on many auric levels. Just do it on a physical level. I think life may have done it on a physical level, but there's still a level. You can imagine the cords being cut. I often use Angel Michael to come in and have his sword just cut ties completely with the old. There's nothing more for you to learn there. So when you find your mind going over and over and over this old stuff, just gently say to yourself, we've already been here. Let's move on. Okay? So self-reflection is great for you, but for you, you can get stuck in that loop of self-reflection. You're not in that anymore. So what we want to do is we want to actually get you out of this loop of the self-reflection, going into the negativity, going into, oh, woe is me, this won't happen. And then looking for clues. And then what your practical mind does to back it up, because that's what the practical mind does. It looks for clues in the world, in the external world, to prove that you won't get what you want. Like we've said before, oh, they haven't called yet. Oh, nothing's happened yet. Oh, I can't see anything moving. So obviously we're not going to get it. This is a cycle that you've got yourself into. And then you go to the extreme level of, oh my God, should have asked for that. Was that an unwise choice? And then you go into like completely, sort of disrespecting yourself in a way on a profound level and doubting yourself, so you go full circle. So you're definitely one of those people that can see absolutely every point of view, which is really beautiful. It means that you have an open heart. And as long as people are respectful and they're open themselves, you generally don't judge people. And if you do, you look at that judgment within yourself and say, why am I judging them? And then you do a lot of self-reflecting in that way. Now, when you use that self-reflecting in that way, you're peaceful. And that's a good way to be. When you use the self-reflection about going over and over and you use it against yourself to the point where you start distrusting yourself and then blocking the manifestations because you're trying to protect yourself from just in case they don't happen, that's when your peace is disrupted. And that's when you go into these old cycles of going back over old things, which will no longer serve you. So a few practical things. Let's just go over them again. Meditation, please call on the angels. They will come if you ask them. You need to ask them for help, and they're there. They're there. Now, you can use any angel, any higher being that you want. You can use your ancestors here. This thought process, by the way, is inherited from your ancestors, a certain aspect of them, but they're ready to let it go. I mean, I can hear from a lot of your ancestors here. I'm getting messages, yeah, ready to let it go. We've let it go. You let it go. And for most of you, you've been working on that. So this is the last stage of letting go. So for those of you who are aware of this process and have been working through it, if it seems really extreme right now that, oh my God, I just went through this last week and it seems really dark and heavy and will I ever get out of it? That's because it's just about to let go. Sometimes when you're just about to let go of something that's really quite huge that you've been working on, an aspect of self that you no longer need, it can feel really heavy just before it lets go and it releases for good. So for those of you who really feel as though they're stuck in this pattern and you don't understand why it's come back thick and fast, that's because it's just about to leave. Because I'm definitely getting from your ancestors that this is gone. You've been working on it. This is definitely an aspect of self and a way that you are in the world that you're fully aware of. You're fully aware. I feel as though, at least on some level, I feel as though on a real internal level, you're fully aware of your power with manifestation. Most of you would have had something that you've manifested out of nowhere. And you could use it in small ways or in huge ways. You may not have been able to keep up this manifestation throughout your life because you've used these systems that have integrated a little bit of negativity into that. But you know that you're powerful. You know that you can do it. And you also know this process that you've been working with, and you've been working to get out of it with your self-reflection. And for most of you, I can see, pile 3 going, oh yeah, I do that. I do that. But you are ready to unleash your true power, and unleash it in a way that it integrates and again weaves into your power and into society, so you can manifest whatever you want, and again teach or hold space for people to be able to learn how to do that too. So you're well aware that you do this when this energy comes up after you've cut the cords with whomever you want to work with, whatever guides, and ask them to cut it. You don't have to be in control. That's another thing, pile 3. You're learning to relinquish this idea of quote unquote control. You use it in a very specific way, again, for protection. There's no need for it. All you have to do is release. You're ready to do that. Some of you are nervous about doing it. There's nothing wrong with being nervous about doing something, but just know that you are protected. You don't need to protect yourself. I see a lot of you taking off armor, which is a good thing. So something that you've been working on. So as soon as these, going back to old stuff, or as soon as this this understanding, this old understanding comes in of like, oh, this won't manifest, or any of this doubt comes in, just say, I really appreciate your point of view. And in the past, I may have needed your protection. I no longer need it now. And just return to space, return to something that you love doing, go into some meditation, go into sort of an innocent childlike mentality, go pick up a child's book. Just remind your ego and your practical mind that you really do not try and shut them out. Just remind them that you really appreciate them being there, but really at the end of the day, they're not needed here. You've got this. You've done the work. We've worked together. You've got this. You know it's going to be positive. You know everything's going to work out. We appreciate that you're trying to protect us, but, don't worry about it. And just, reset to the positive, and then don't worry, because you're classic overthinkers. Don't worry about the manifesting that you've put out there being on hold because some of that negative energy or the doubts have come up. Part of manifesting is dealing with these doubts. Just trust. You're never manifesting from the doubtful state that you're in. You're manifesting from a completely different place. Trust that place and just let it go. So the last thing I'm going to say here, I'm going to really talk about this. So for you, the word tandem keeps coming up. You really are here to be of service. You really are here to manifest the best life and to teach and to hold space for other people to be able to do this. And also you're here to manifest and teach the next generation. For most of you here, and again, it's a general reading, but for most of you, you really are here to move from the old and heal the bloodline of your ancestors. And you've worked diligently at that. And for all of this, they're standing and applauding for you doing this. This was not easy work. It was mucky. It was dead in the water kind of work. It was icky work, and you did it. And you did it with grace, even though sometimes you felt like you were flailing. They were there, and they want to remind you that, even though you didn't feel graceful in the process, you did it with grace and with love. Now it's time for you to gather that peace and just sit in this new beginning with your ancestors and know that whatever you hold for the future will be pure of heart. And it's a really beautiful messages. They're just surrounding you at this point and just sitting next to you and holding you close and thanking you for the work that you've done. And know that anything that you manifest from now on in will be pure of heart. You don't just manifest for you manifest for the planet. It's a really beautiful way to be. Never doubt your heart, never doubt your beauty. That's what they're saying. So this love goes across all boundaries, and all aspects of gender and race and religion. You are able to bring a sense of peace and a sense of love and integrity to any kind of relationship. So for some of you, it's kind of quite random. You might even be marriage counselors. There's a lot of integrity that you can bring to the world, and you're coming into the sense of peace right now. So remember, for as much as you can use your mind against yourself, pile 3, once that you're moving into a sense of how to work with your mind, once you master your mind, you can use that power to do all sorts of good. And the one thing that I'm getting is the seeds that you've planted are about to sprout, and they're going to sprout really rapidly. I'm getting shown vines like ivy, in Europe. I guess you guys have them here too, but in the old buildings, like ivy goes everywhere. It's almost impossible to sort of to keep them and to trim them down. So your seeds are going to grow like ivy. You're about to open up to a new way of being in this world, which is about to grow really rapidly. So please don't be worried about coming, to the table late, and to doing this late. You had to take your time in order to do this. And there's a sense of, primordial sort of grounding and moving from a space of uncertainty into a space of profound sort of, I keep getting the word justice, and using this beautiful energy that you have to manifest and visualize a better world. And I'm being told that one person really can make a difference, and they really do. So in the times that you feel alone and wonder if you do have enough power to move forward in the way that you've always wanted to, and to be of use, and to be sort of this beacon of light in the way that you can and have always wanted to. Yes, one person absolutely can. Your energy will be growing like ivy and influencing others. And they're also telling you you're absolutely not alone. You have your bloodline source behind you, everyone behind you, but particularly very strong bloodlines and ancestral influences here, and the essence of handing over this new truth to the new world and the new generation, your specific generation of those to come. So pile 3, beautiful stuff here. Beautiful sense of peace walking into. If you haven't already sensed the peace that's coming, it is coming, pile 3. I'm really proud of you. You've done a lot of icky work there, with shedding the old, especially with bloodline stuff. Whether you realize that you've been working with everything that you do in this lifetime to shed, you shed from your bloodline too. So even if you didn't intend or set up with the intention of clearing your bloodline, you've been doing that automatically. You've been working out of old modes, working into brand new ways of being. So well done. That is not easy work, and you've done it with grace, even though sometimes you may have felt like you were flailing or failing. You never were. So if this resonated, please let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Yay. And feel free to give me a like down below, which is the same thing, I think. Thumbs up, like, yep. Let me know in the comments if this resonated. Feel free to subscribe. I would love to have you if you're feeling as though this is the energy. These readings are the sort of energy you need in your life. And until we meet again, I want to say thank you for being you. I'm honored to have read for you today. And until we meet again, take care. Bye-bye.